Señor Kobi Michel, bienvenido a la W Radio.
Hello, good evening.
Hi, hello, good evening.
In the 2 years since Gaza attacked Israel, there's a lot of expectation of what's going on in Israel. What's your take on that? Is there any expectations coming out of Egypt?
I would say that the main expectations here in Israel are, first of all, the release of the hostages. I think that this is the thing that the entire Israeli society looks for. And eventually this is the thing that will determine the continuation with regard to the plan of President Trump and, generally speaking, with regard to the future of the war in the Gaza Strip, the entire Palestinian arena, as well as the entire region. When it comes to the Egyptians, this time the Egyptians are I would say less influential, less central. The leading mediators in this round are the Qataris and the Turks that were empowered very dramatically by President Trump, and they have a leverage or a more influential leverage on Hamas. And they are trying to deliver, I think, at least with regard to the first phase of the plan, which is the release of the hostages.
This question is for a very good and well-known senior investigator. That is you, Mr. Michael. After 2 years, do you have any explanation of how 2 years ago Mossad, Israeli intelligence, let these people come into Israel in small planes, in cars, by walking, killing everyone, kidnapping everyone? How could happen that with so strong intelligence Mossad service?
Yes. Actually, it's not the Mossad necessarily, because the Mossad has no responsibility with the Gaza Strip. It has other responsibilities that come to Hamas, but not in the Gaza Strip. But it is a very, I would say, disappointing failure of the Israeli intelligence. But this is a failure not only of the intelligence. This is a failure in three levels. The first level is the conceptual level, where the political echelon has the main responsibility, the idea that Hamas is deterred, the idea that Hamas is responsible and is going through an institutionalization process where it cares more about the well-being of its people and more interested in developing the Gaza Strip, more interested in the economy. And therefore, it is deterred because it understands that all of these things might be taken by Israel if it will attack Israel. So this is the conceptual failure. In addition to that, of course, all the idea of bringing Qatar with its money in order to help Hamas in the Gaza Strip under the same conception. The second level is the intelligence level. I mean, the idea that we had all the information, but the problem was not the absence of information or shortage of information. The problem was the interpretation of the information that we held in our hands. And the third level of the failure is the operational level. I mean, the idea that the IDF troops along the border were not prepared enough and were not able to stop the attack on the border or in front of the border or before the border. And altogether is a very dramatic and very painful failure that must be investigated and interrogated. And I assume that it will be done.
There's a lot of criticisms on how Israel responded to these attacks. Do you have any opinions on that? Where were there any errors on the Israeli side when it came to the counterattack or combating the attack of Israel?
Yes, I'm pretty aware to the criticism. Most of it, I would say, is an outcome of hypocrisy or misunderstanding about the nature of this war. This is the most complicated urban warfare zone since ever. We are talking about a very small and densely placed, 365 square kilometers with more than 2 million people, where Hamas is deeply embedded in the civilian society, where Hamas controls the entire civilian facilities, including the facilities of UNRWA, which is UN agency, and where Hamas has succeeded in building more than 700 kilometers of tunnels beneath the ground, beneath residential houses and buildings, beneath civilian facilities, be it mosques, hospitals, clinics, schools, and you name it. And the idea that they hold hostages and the idea that they use their civilians as human shield with a lot of cynicism and brutality, all of these circumstances make the war much more difficult, and the consequences are very harsh consequences, unfortunately.
Our previous guest, we spoke about anti-Semitism. Do you think that the response by Israel has raised the amount of anti-Semitism in the world?
Yes, but it is not connected directly to the Israeli response. It is connected to the inherent problems of the Western society and mainly the Western leadership. And mainly when it comes to Western leadership, which are coming from the left. The problem is that anti-Semitism was there all the time, although sometimes it was maybe hidden and implicit. And the problem is that there is a bizarre and very dangerous green-red coalition between the progressives and the ultra-radical Muslims that in a way are the constituencies of these leaders that believe that by appeasing this constituency on the one hand and by attacking Israel and by criticizing Israel, they will be able to reach safe and security in their countries, and of course they are wrong in this regard. We see that the demonstrations in the streets, and we see that people are shouting slogans in the demonstrations without understanding what they are shouting when they say from the river to the sea, Palestine will be free. This is a genocide call, okay? And unfortunately, this is the situation. But it is an indication of the problem of the West much more than the problem of Israel.
Mr. Michael, thank you very much for your time, and we hope the conversations on Egypt will success.
Yeah. Thank you.
Bye-bye.